I have to miss some. I'll put some water on my water. Okay, I don't have any for you. Yeah, they made me miss. Oh, someone got my desk, but. All
right, if we can do the drill. You have any friends in line? That's okay. Huh?
I said, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, whichever one you want.
Phone was cheap on my desk. Laying on the ground. Bitch. It didn't work.
Yeah, I think he copied or a few.
Yeah.
Said he was checking my around. Whatever you put.
Oh, I think he's in.
Okay. Ryan, could you hear me? Ryan?
Hello?
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you could hear me.
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Glad to have you. Hope you feel better.
Thank you.
Okay. We're just doing the drill. Okay. All right. Jack, if they were saying use letters or something to tell how big the tax is, how would you explain the tax using letters?
Poll tax, I would do DHFD.
DHFC, yeah, that would be the tax revenue. Okay.
You did a taxes P, you must be one.
That would be the actual tax rate. No, he gave us the tax revenue box, which would be good, and then the tax.
Excuse me, when you get a chance, can you scroll through this? Do you have a test on Friday for AP econ?
No, do you want me to have a test? I can give them.
Well, no, there's a marine bio field trip.
Yeah, I embrace field trip.
Yeah, there is.
Okay,
So,
well, just, so you know about this? Okay, but never mind.
no, but I don't, is that who's in marine bio?
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Some of us were having tests and just.
Okay. I thought you felt I was having a good day and you just wanted to get me upset.
Good, Rob. That was his annual events.
Oh, okay, thank you. All right, Evan, consumer surplus before the tax. No, that's consumer surplus after the tax.
It'd be,
No, for the price before the tax would be P2 to be A, B, C, D. Okay. Tommy, producer surplus before the tax. NH. Okay, who's got the answer, Oliver, the answer for this? A, all right, consumer surplus, P3 above is A, G is below. Now, why is P1 the price? Because Oliver said before the tax is P3 minus P1. So the producer is really getting P1 below the price above supply, and then dead weight loss is D and E. All right, just remember, even though they didn't ask it here, total surplus is consumer surplus plus producer surplus plus tax revenue. The reason why this is inefficient is because you have dead weight loss, D and E. Okay. Any questions on that? Jake?
so basically you just take that tax and like flip it down that way to another tax.
This is the tax, is this what you mean?
Yeah,
Yes.
like how do you know how big it is?
if you take the new tax, right? Equilibrium, but down to the old supply curve, that will always give it to you. Okay. You okay, Jack? Fine? Fine? Okay. Ryan, you okay? Did he
Yeah, I'm
leave?
good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Just making sure you're there. All right. I will do tomorrow, the AP review on the labor market. The graphing quiz is Friday. So, just graphing with some people this morning. Very few people remembered monopolistic competition in the long run graph. They had trouble with the labor market. I would graph them. All right. And then check online to see are your graphs correct. Yeah. The graph, if you look under AP review, it says first graphing quiz, they're there, but they're perfect competition, monopolistic competition, Phillips curve, and side by side, perfect competition in the labor market. Now, you just gotta know the graphs, but the graphs have to be perfect or it's a 0 for the graph. Okay. So you have to have all the labels and everything done. Someone asked me about the AP exams the other day. It's May 4th at 8 a.m. for macro, May 5th at 12 p.m. for micro. On the 3rd, I'll do a study session like starting at 6. And I lost those, whatever we call those things, my blunders. So I'll buy pizza and soda for everyone who wants to attend. And we'll talk more about that as we get closer to it. Okay. Any questions on anything? Okay. I do want to, like Thursday, I'll give you back your test. I planned on doing it tomorrow, but I forgot it was lecture and probably not a convenient time to give that test. But I did. Okay. I did want to talk to you a little about the test. So, personally, I like looking over it. I don't think I did a great job teaching the material to you, which is on me. And all I could do is try to figure out how to get better and how to try to get you to learn from it. But on the other part, I think some of you have to also take the test and learn from it when we look at it Thursday and try to figure out how you can get better. Monetary policy, there's a lot of it on the AP exam. Now, I looked last year and our results are fairly, and I'll show you that probably tomorrow. Our results are fairly close to last year. And I think 2 kids did pass the AP exam last year. So there were kids who failed this monetary test and still passed the AP exam. And so, you know, that is an encouraging sign. I think like we have 4 weeks left. Yes, sir.
2 weeks, 2% out of everyone didn't that.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's good.
Yeah.
So
What?
I'm probably good.
I don't think it works like that. I don't think like they call up and say, how did last year's do? Oh, 98. Oh, so I'm gonna pass Jake. But here's also to me, like, especially if you haven't been doing well in the class. You're gonna go to college and probably not do well in the class, and you're gonna need a final to like get your grade up. And I think a lot of you think you could do it, but there's a difference between thinking and knowing. And I think if you take and attack the AP exam like that, and it's a college final, and for all those, like college is harder, and not because the material is harder, because the distractions are 10 times harder. There's way more alcohol, there's way more drugs, and there's way more women. All those people don't help, none of that. Maybe the women help you academically. They kind of take it so all those things are distracting. So I think like it's really important to know that you can do it. And I think this is a good opportunity to say or to see, can you do it? Now, and it's in all different levels. A lot of you have proven that you do it, so you do know it. But some of you guys don't, like you don't, you think you can. And it was just like, it's easy to think you can. And I'll just remember, like, when I was a kid, people said, wow, I'd be as good as you if I shot 500 shots a day like you do. Well, do it then. Like, yeah, it's easy to say, do it. Stop being scared to prove. You know, it's easy to say I don't care, because then if you don't do well, you have the I don't care. And that's just the BS excuse. That's like protecting your, yourself. Put yourself out and see, can you do it? All right, and look, if almost everyone did it last year, there should be no reason why almost everyone can't do it this year, right? I mean, same guys in the same situation, okay? And I probably taught it just as lousy last year as it, no, I taught it worse this year, monetary policy, I gotta be honest. I would just say, and I think it's also, it's easy if Jack comes up to me and says, I don't care anymore. And yeah, you shouldn't care. That's the easy way out. Like, that to me isn't being a good friend. That's the easy way out. You know, I think it's hard to do the right thing. It's hard to stay focused, right? Sometimes. I think like it's hard to do it when maybe you think it doesn't count anymore. All I remember is when I left Eastern Tech, I hated the principal. His job was based on AP score. That's how he got evaluated. I had 1/5 of the AP students. And all the other teachers said, you should just screw him. And just like tank the AP test, just don't teach it to the kids. And I said, no, like that isn't fair because he has nothing over me. I'm not gonna take advantage of it. So I did the opposite, Jake. 121 for 122 with 81 fives that year. Because I didn't want him for a second, for one ever second to think that I tanked it on, that's what type of person I was. I wanted to say, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna try my hardest, I'm gonna do the best I can, okay? We had a pretty amazing class.
81.5, that's crazy. What's 81.5? 81.5. Is that your most ever?
Yeah. The funny thing is, the year after, he had a meeting with all the AP teachers, and he said, like, what happened? Like, what happened to our 5? And my friend raised his hand and said, they went to Delaney. And he got all pissed off, so. You have to have great students. All right, that's enough of that. We'll talk more about the test Thursday. If anyone wants to get together with me personally and go over the test, I'd be glad to. I think when you see, and I think like Jake had mentioned this to me earlier, I think you'll see that I think you knew the material better, but I think sometimes you didn't understand the questions, and that's what threw you off. All right, here's the feedback. Definition of domestic, something that occurs in the United States. That would be domestic. Someone tell me what a tariff is. Sure, Alex, I'll take it from you. Yeah, it's a tax on imports. Total surplus, I'll show you this when we do the tariff graph, the 4 graphs we kind of talked about. So there. All right. So, by the way, here are the topics for this unit. Comparative advantage, we know that, I don't gotta teach it. Export, import, we did that yesterday. Laugh like curve, I love it. And then exchange rates. All right, we got 2 more graphs to get through. All right. Did I give you at the bottom of the drill? Did I give you a space for this? All right, so this is again, because we rushed through the tariffs yesterday. This again is the graph. So this is the world price. How do I find out how much is being imported? I'm going to put numbers here. 80. All right. US citizens bought 80, US producers only produce 20. How do I find that? The supply curve. This is a curve of the United States steel industry. Okay? So US produced 20, we imported 60. All right. Now we're going to put a tariff. Why a tariff? Because producers complain and they feel it's unfair. All right. Now you could already see if you put in that tariff line, US producers go from producing 20 to producing 40. All right. That helped US producers. US consumers, because the price went, let's say, from $5 to $10. US producers were starting to say, oh my God, prices are going up. I mean, US consumers, we're going to buy less. Now, what's imported? We're buying 60, US steel is making 40. So now imports are down to 20. For imports after tariff is 20. All right. So the tariff has worked, right? It's given the US producers more of the market. Is it good for consumers? No, because price went up. Now, yes, sir.
We have the right domestic demand and everything for a D. Like.
I think you could go D in supply. Okay. All right. So here was tariff. Producer surplus before tariff, and then and consumer surplus before tariff, and you can see how large consumer surplus is, right? Above the price, below demand. There it is. Now after tariff, consumer surplus has shrunk. So a loser in a tariff is consumers. They definitely are losers. All right. Producer surplus, however, has increased. We went from G to C. The winning is producers. Now, we talked about it, and I think Alex said it. It's a tax. All right. Here is your tax revenue box. Okay. Actually, my bad. There it is. All right. Now, the height is 5. The base is 20. So my tax revenue is 100. So another winner is the government, because they get tax revenue. Now, these boxes represent deadweight loss. If I have deadweight loss, the economy loses. So I put us on the losing end, the economy. Okay. Now, last thing, and they ask this once in a while, is this efficient? Most of the time you're going to say, no, you're going to know why. But it's not efficient because we have deadweight loss. All right, because total surplus is consumer surplus, producer surplus, and tax revenue. So what's missing and what hurts the efficiency is the deadweight loss. Yes, sir. No, because then we wouldn't, if it went over the equilibrium, there'd be no reason to import the goods.
So it's also supposed to get down, right? Because of the deadweight loss.
Correct. Chuck.
If the tariff went to equilibrium, would there be no deadweight loss?
There would be, but I think kind of Evan might have said this, but there'd be no reason to import. Because, do you know what I mean? You'd be getting US prices and the US companies could take care of everything. Anything else? Good questions. Okay. Ryan, any questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right, now, you used to have to know the quota graph, which I'll show you in a second just for fun. But this is all you have to know about quotas. They're a restriction. And I know, like, for some reason, I put the drill in the quota again. But I gave you plenty of like sidebar space. No, it's today. It's a restriction on the quantity of a good that could be imported. And you could just write it anyway. It's a restriction on a quantity of good that can be imported. So the United States wanted to put a quota on Japanese cars. They say 1,000 cars can be imported, and that's it. So it's a restriction on the amount that can be imported. And like we sometimes do it with cars and other goods. So it protects US producers because if all they can do is sell 1,000 Japanese cars, the Americans could take over the rest of the cars being sold. Okay, now this used to be a fun little graph you had to know, but you don't have to know it anymore. Boggles my mind. I think it's too confusing. All right, with your partner, quick review, go over these, give you 2 minutes, go. You guys good? Anything you didn't know? Above ABC, because below ABC you said that. All right, anything you or your partner are not sure of? Jake. Short run supply curve and perfect competition. Who's got that?
What is it? MC?
Keep going. You're right, but you need more detail.
MC after losses and that?
You have the right idea, but the wrong curve. It has to be above ABC.
Oh, yeah.
Because what happens below ABC, you shut down, so you're supplying nothing. Okay? Anything else you or your partner did not know? You shift opposite short run average supply, you slide opposite average demand. Okay. Everything else is good? All right. Evan, could you remind me of the maximize utility least cost combination formula?
MUX over EX equals MUY over Y.
Okay. Good. The other end, you bailed the other Evan out because she was. I don't know. It's okay, you know. All right, if you turn like, I think on the other side. Is this FRQ there? The back of the first page? All right, the back of the first page, I'll give you a couple of minutes. Could you just do this FRQ on international trade? Yes. What?
I'm trying to figure out how to.
Yeah.
All right, what was total surplus before? Before world price, isn't it KGP1?
Oh, that's, oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, and what would?
Oh, okay, yeah, I see, I see. What it is now. Yeah. It's H.
Yeah. All right, who's got B as in broccoli? Murph, how you doing?
Good.
All right.
I say Q3.
Now soon begins simple oil, identify the quantity imported to the United. Now. You put numbers here, 20, 40, and 60. With 60, Murph being 60 tons, be how much was imported?
Yeah,
Is that true?
no.
You're fighting with yourself. Luca?
I'd say it would be P1 or 20, because that's how much, 60 is how much they come in, but 20 is how much they actually bring in. It's roughly-
No, 20 is how much the United States makes.
Oh,
Gomez. Yeah, it's Q3 minus Q1, okay? Because we're demanding 60, the US is making 20, so we're importing 40. Okay? That good, Chuckle? You good? All right. All right, identify the consumer surplus in the United States market for each of the following. Jack, before international trade.
I'm sure.
Okay. Hey. What's the price before trade?
The price before trade.
Is that what you're having trouble figuring out?
yeah.
It's pizza. All right. Now, Jack, the price is always going to be above your world price.
So.
So
it's like the initial price of the always starting at pizza, like where pizza would be. At the
Yeah.
beginning. Okay.
So it should be P2. If P2 is the price, what's consumer surplus?
It would be KG.
KG pizza. Okay. All right. Bennett, what's the after international trade?
KPW.
KHPW. All right, because now PW is the price. I take it all the way over. All right. Any questions on that?
So consumers would benefit.
Yeah, world trade's a big benefit for the consumers on imports. Okay,
We do exports.
we did that, yes. All right, Mike, producer surplus in the United States before international trade. All right, P2, GP1, that's there. After international trade, Jake.
PW, JP1.
Okay. Any questions on that? You good?
Yeah.
Robbie,
Just the order matter.
you mean if you went P1 JPW or you went JPW P1? No. As long as you have the three there. But Robbie, since we have you, could you identify the net gain in total surplus? Right, okay, this triangle, which would now be part of consumer surplus, J, G, and H was not in the total surplus. So the winner is the economy because total surplus increases. The loser is producers, and the winner is consumers in this graph. Any questions on any of that? Okay. I'll move forward then. All right. United States sells cars to Mexico. Mexico buys tractors. All right, all this is saying is there's a lot of international trade. All right, exports for us are things made domestically, sold abroad. So an export would be something made domestically, sold abroad. The U.S. manufactured car, and then imports, something made abroad, and we buy domestically. Okay. Now, what is a little tricky is a lot of these countries have different currencies. And that's what we're going to try to look at for the foreign exchange. Now, are we going to look at like all 193 different currencies at one time? No, like the production possibilities curve, where we just compared like two products, like the comparative advantage where we just compared, we're going to just look at one currency versus another at a given time. Okay, we're not going to look at all the currencies in one snapshot. All right, so the buyer must exchange their currency for the sellers. All right, so if I'm buying cars from a Japanese producer, I got to convert US currency into the Japanese yen. And by the way, are you expected to know what Japan's current? No. They'll all be given to you. Okay. So an exchange rate is the price of one currency relative to another. All right. And if you listened to like Bloomberg or some news station, they'll always be talking like the US dollar is strong, is weak, compared to the yen. And that's what we're talking about now. Okay. So the value of 1 gold equals 5 silver. Okay.
Was that like an exam?
What?
What was the definition again? Price of one currency.
Wait, where you read that?
I don't know. Where does it go?
Exchange rates?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I didn't put it there. I thought I put the definition there for you. Sorry. Okay. The example is more there, right?
So we won't have to memorize like the $1 equals 0.66 euros or anything like that.
Okay. All right. So the value of 1 gold equals 5 silver. So all I was going to say is the value of 1 silver then is 0.2 or 1/5 gold. Okay. Obviously they have that type of relationship. What if 1 gold equals 2 silver? Then the value of 1 gold. Okay. So what I'm saying here is, what if 1 gold equal 2 silver, right? It used to be 1 gold equal 5 silver, but if 1 gold now equals 2 silver, then the value of gold has depreciated, right? Because now it's buying less silver, all right? So when a currency depreciates, we say it's like wheat. So, like that's when you hear like the dollar's weak or the yen's weak or silver is weak. Now, if the value of gold depreciated, what's going to happen to the value of silver? It's going to appreciate because now it takes less silver to buy 1 gold. It used to take 5 silver and now it's only taking 2. Okay. So the value of silver appreciates. So one of the things when we're doing what we're doing, which is only talking about 2 countries, if one appreciates, the other has to depreciate. All right. Now, what if 1 gold equals 10 silver? Jake, what happened to gold? It appreciates, right? Because 1 gold buys more silver. And again, if we know that, we automatically could say silver depreciate. Go. No, because they're getting compared to each other. You know what I mean? Like you can't always think of how the dollar like is doing here. It's how it is sometimes compared to the euro. Yeah, but it's how many dollars could buy a euro, not how much a dollar could buy in the United States. Okay, and you'll see when we do it, and inflation is going to have a role in the value of money. There's no doubt about it. Okay, so in the foreign exchange market, like I said, we'll look at 2 currencies. Example, US dollars, and Mike brought up euros. So if we examine the price of one currency in terms $3 by €2. So the exchange rate depends on which currency you're converting. So the price of $1 would be what? How many euros? Right, 0.66. All right, I'm gonna end us here. We'll talk more about this in lecture tomorrow. Did I give you the notes for lecture? No. All right, I got it to you in lecture. Brian, have a good day. Hope you feel better.
Thank you. You too. Have a good day.